This is my custom iPod Classic. It has built-in Bluetooth, a USB-C port, and 256 gigabytes of storage. I picked it up over a year ago, and I've used it pretty much every day since then, whether it's listening to podcasts during my morning routine, or unwinding with some music after work. And it's not just me. Even though the iPod was discontinued over a decade ago, it's starting to gain a new cult following. So what's making the iPod relevant again today? Hi, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Jake, and I like to learn and share what I learn here on YouTube. I'm constantly exploring how we can use technology to its full potential, without getting caught up in all the distractions. I'm pretty excited to talk about why I love the iPod so much, and all the ways that having one might benefit you. So let's jump into it. I think the first thing that's drawing people back to the iPod today is what it's not. It's not a smartphone, it's not a computer, and it's not a tablet. It's a music player, and that's it. Which means that if you pick it up to listen to music, that's what you're going to end up doing, rather than getting distracted by it. There aren't any platforms like Netflix, YouTube, or Instagram to draw your attention away. There aren't any algorithms designed to keep you scrolling as long as possible. There's just music, and that's it. I can tell you firsthand, the experience of using an iPod instead of a phone to listen to music is night and day. Whatever time of day it is, I can put on whatever I want to listen to without getting distracted by messages or notifications. This simple separation of your music from your phone makes it so much easier to disconnect and stay present, and that benefit alone makes the iPod a worthwhile investment. Another aspect of the iPod that anyone can appreciate is that there aren't any subscriptions. Today, most people get their music through streaming services like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube, which requires either paying a monthly fee or constantly hearing ads between songs. And of course, no one is thrilled about hearing another ad or paying another monthly subscription, so it's definitely a benefit of the iPod that you can break from the subscription model. But I actually don't think that the cost of music subscriptions is the big downside to getting your music through a streaming platform. From a numbers perspective, having access to any song or album that you want to hear, anytime and anywhere for just $10 a month is probably the best deal that consumers have ever gotten for their music. I think the real downside to using a streaming platform instead of downloading your music is that if you use a streaming platform, you never actually own your music. You're just paying to listen to it. The streaming platform can remove music that you like anytime, or raise your rate in order for you to keep listening. You pay for access to the club, but they decide all the rules, and your music is never actually yours. With an iPod, on the other hand, you own the actual digital files. Whatever you download is yours to keep. There's no chance that it will be pulled from the streaming platform, or that you'll suddenly have to pay a new rate to keep listening. Your music is yours, and yours forever. No strings attached, no subscriptions required. This all brings us to another benefit of the iPod, the experience of actually using it. Because the iPod's interface is completely different from that of streaming platforms. Streaming platforms are constantly updating their interface to test out new features and get new subscribers. They introduce social feeds, sharing buttons, and endless music recommendations that can start to feel like keeping up with another inbox. And don't forget algorithms designed to keep you listening to music and stay hooked on their platform as long as possible. The iPod does none of that. It's private, offline, and only has the music that you choose to put on it. It doesn't have algorithms, social feeds, or sharing buttons. And it also doesn't constantly recommend new music, which I find very refreshing in a world of endless content. Then there's the physical experience of using an iPod. It's a solidly built premium product with the tactile pleasure of physical buttons that you just don't experience anymore with modern phones. Add in Bluetooth and USB-C, and this iPod starts to look more and more like a luxury device from the future. The last benefit of the iPod that I want to talk about is that it doesn't just improve your listening experience, it changes your relationship with music itself. With an iPod, you have to consciously choose what you're going to download and listen to, rather than being able to access anything, anytime. And because of that extra friction, you end up being much more selective about what you download and listen to than if you were just streaming all of your music. Ultimately, this results in a music collection that's much more personal and curated, a library of music that's truly yours. This is one of the elements that first got me interested in downloading music, the idea of building my own collection. I started downloading music over 10 years ago, and today I love browsing through my library, seeing each album that brings back its own unique memories and experiences. And this doesn't mean you have to be an audiophile or a music connoisseur to appreciate the iPod, because honestly, I'm neither of those things. Most of the time, I'm just listening to music in the background, like everybody else. But every once in a while, I love to just lie down and listen to music, and the iPod makes it that much easier to enjoy. You might be wondering, why not get a record player? It would make a lot of sense, because you get a lot of the same benefits that you get with using an iPod, like a more personalized collection and an offline listening experience. It's something I've thought about a lot, and something I'd like to get in the long run. But I realized that the iPod and the record player are fundamentally different devices, because you can't slip a record player into your pocket and go for a walk. So for now, the iPod is perfect for me. It presents a unique sweet spot between the conveniences of streaming and the luxury of using a record player. It brings all of your music with none of the distractions. Are you considering picking up an iPod yourself? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to add a link in the description to the shop where I got mine. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, and above all, subscribe. I've got lots of content I want to create about staying balanced in the modern world, and each new subscriber motivates me to keep creating and keep posting new content. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next one.